And we're back. Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Welcome to the second sketch. Um, this sketch is called The Loss of Connection. Do you have a visual of it?
No, I can see
Oh,
it
oh,
perfectly.
okay.
If
Yes.
anyone's familiar with these sketches,
Yeah.
actually.
The loss of connection. I think the first thing that we start to see with the loss of connection is the loss of color.
Mm,
The loss of color. We've gone from that, rich brown, earth tones to this now dullish white and blue. And I feel like the loss of connection pretty much covers what we called our transition into the new environment, actually getting there. And I think we need to be very careful about, how we split these, because I feel like the initial transition wasn't as bad as most people would assume, or how we might put it. Because honestly, once we got there, it felt like, it did feel like the land of opportunities. It felt like the well was dry. Yeah. Was wet, sorry. It felt like the well was wet, you see. I've lost connection. But yeah, it felt like the well was wet. We did. I remember ha ke goroga ko Heathrow, everything just felt, and that's the busiest airport in the world, isn't it? Yeah, that's the busiest airport in the world. You get there and it's crazy. It's exciting. It's
yeah.
exciting. You're seeing so many different nationalities. It's exactly what you expected. Obana, the convenience. You feel the step up in terms of everything. The delivery, the service delivery, the service delivery, guys.
Cannot be
No
understated.
shots, no shots fired. But the service delivery, it just showed, or we are in a different place.
Yeah.
But there were some downsides to that as well. So let me start with Lamont. How was your transition?
I was sort of lucky when I first left in that I traveled with a group of my peers, some of which I'd met or I'd gone to school with before, and others which I'd met during the process because there's an entire process leading up to
Yeah.
actually leaving with the visas and all that stuff. So I'd met them during that time. So that particular thing led to my transition probably being easier than it was for most people because I wasn't experiencing everything by myself. For the first time, I got to sort of learn and appreciate the systems with everyone else. That sort of, yeah, that definitely made it easier to go and get there. But there was definitely an element of like, I got there and I definitely felt like this is a different place and this is a place I haven't necessarily experienced before. Like I've traveled before in my life and been to different places, but I could definitely feel like this is a new stage, a new arena. There are all these expectations now. I'm here for a reason. I'm not just here traveling with my family on holiday or something. Now I'm traveling and I'm expected to come here and become the greatest, or I'm supposedly the best of the best. So I need to come here and compete with the best of the best to see who's better, I suppose. So there were all those things, and I think that really hit me once we started school. Like I traveled and we got there as that initial. I didn't really have a culture shock because although it's different, it's sort of what I expected culturally. So I wasn't shocked. It's just like, oh, this is strange, and it's not the
Really,
same.
it was what you expected.
Sort of. I think I had a warped sensibility to these sort of things. Just generally, the way in which I approach and the way in which I perceive things is very different. So when I got there, there was I could not I cannot understate how different it was or overstate how different it was.
Fair enough.
But I wasn't shocked by it. I just sort of took it in. Like I was able to just absorb it, just sort of however quickly it came to me, I just absorbed it and regurgitated that energy. Because I think that's one thing I'm good at doing is like, okay, let me take this energy and just channel it back really quickly. So there wasn't really that. It's when we got to school and that system was really where the difference and the difficulties started sort of unfolding because I went there for A levels and the way in which I was accustomed to learning, which was usually just at my own pace in my own time, was different because I went to a school which was very much about the academics, even though which was my high school here,
Mm.
was very much about that. Was probably at the pinnacle of academic excellence and academic achievement and
Mm.
getting their students to the best universities.
Mm.
So you felt all of that the second you started your schooling process there. And that's when you really now feel like the picture
Mm.
shows. You feel like you're in the matrix. Now you're just a number, you're candidate
Mm.
number so and so.
Mm.
And there are 11 other people that you came with from Botswana, but there are all these other people, mostly Asians. And you
Mm.
know, Asians with academics, they're not really about the games, especially out of school
Mm.
like that, because it's hard to get into to begin with. They're
Ah.
not with the games. So
Mm.
that's when you really felt like, okay, now it's go time and I need to perform because that's what I came here for.
Mm.
And of course, that comes with its own challenges, but we'll discuss those later. But for now,
Mm.
my transition wasn't that difficult.
Mm.
I was able to adapt to it pretty quickly. I
Mm.
believe so anyway.
Mm.
Maybe it's also cognitive dissonance of a
Mm.
lot of things that may have happened, but the way my current self views it, it wasn't as
It
difficult
wasn't
as it
as
may have seemed.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Fair enough. I feel like the one of the biggest, you know, bullet points, uh, I had when I was doing the loss of connection was I was trying to highlight the loss of, genuine
Mm,
connection for
mm,
mutual connection,
mm,
and this relates to the loss of your support systems. And by this I mean the physical support system, being able to go home and seeing your parents, or being able to go see your relatives on the weekends, and all of those little things that we take for granted.
mm,
But once those things are stripped away from your life, you start to see a huge space in between how far you are from your parents and how far you're actually getting detached
mm,
from them as well.
mm,
So the first thing was, like the communication takes a hit. You go from, communicating more often to now your conversations being more spread apart, and then just being filled with less content, I feel, because now you deal on a highlight reel basis.
mm,
Or what's the biggest things that happened in your life, this week, and then sooner or later it's in the past 2 weeks, and then it's the month, and then after some time there are friends you haven't, spoken to in years, and then halokopana lohone, it's still the same thing. It's far apart, it's detached, and it's paperweight.
yeah.
It no longer has that, intrinsic value it used to have.
Mm,
And because of that, a lot of people, you start to feel that aloneness. But I wouldn't say aloneness at the same time, because the aloneness felt like freedom when we got there. Yeah, it did feel like freedom, because you
yeah.
felt like, I'm away from this society. And to some extent, we felt like our society was also holding us back in terms of, progressing to where we wanted to go. And when you enter a space where people are far more advanced than you are used to, it feels like gold. Why would I feel like it feels like freedom? It feels like you can do whatever you want, but at the same time, like we said, you are losing genuine connection
Yeah.
for virtual connection. And virtual connection, it's not tangible, in every sense of the word. Like it is what it is. You feel our virtual connection. It could mean 5,000 friends on Facebook, who a couple of thousands of likes. You're that
You're
big.
popping, though.
Yeah,
Thousands of love.
but all in all, I don't think anybody would have the virtual connection over the genuine connection. Mm. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah.
whereas you still had, A level, and maybe it was a bit more getting shielded and, cradled a bit. Wa tsena lecturer o ema ko pele and you're just like, did I not learn these things? But I agree with what Kanono is saying as well. There was that loss of connection. Oh, I'm so far away from these people. These people feel so detached. Now it's those virtual things, virtual conversations, virtual connections, those likes on Facebook. And to feel that connection, I can post it. I need a little bit of juice,
No, true. Stand to the skate.
Yeah, right? So I think we get kind of lost in the matrix, like you're saying. You become just that other number in the system of your university or your educational institution. But I think we become just another number on Facebook as well, honestly. We become users. We become users. And you start to feel that value in your life kind of going down, but you're like, no, but mama hatting, guys. I'm out here to get it.
I'm that. I'm doing
Yeah.
that. And again, I feel like the loss of connection is also due to slightly the fact that the guardianship responsibilities shift from our parents, and the shift is confusing because I feel like our parents to some extent feel like they are guardians. That side is in which is our the artichis and all that, and at the same time our artichis look at us like grown people, like we are here to do a job and it's to facilitate just this small part of this entire process. But we're not going to be holding your hand, and you can't call us about 1, 2, 3, but you can call us about 1, 2, 3, which it was guardianship, but it was to a very minute level. And I feel like most people, yeah, you get my point. And I feel like the shift and the stakeholders, both parties, they saw the previous hand. The government assumes we are there, we are happy. That's what they see, and that's the only thing they want to see. And our parents, or the community we leave behind, it sees, the I'm fine. And Lorna, we stand to the scared. We show them what they want to see, and we never show them the hard bits. We show them what we are fine. We show them what they want to.
I think even though we might show them what they like, the hard bits, it's like, no, but I can do it.
Hey.
I'm a warrior. I'm not here by mistake,
No.
Yeah.
But all in all, there is that loss of that shift. And I feel like with this particular sketch, I wanted to show that shift in 2 ways. First was the actual shift within the picture, where we're seeing the perspective changing from, remember the first picture was a side view, and then now is the front view of the same hand in a really, but now that previous hand, that colorful hand, is just a silhouette. There's nothing in that silhouette, and now it's in a matrix, like Lamont said. It's a matrix of digits, numbers. You're just lost in there. All you see is that. Back to the silhouette, yes, it's this way. I get the Facebook like, the virtual connection, the Pako was doing fine, let me like.
How about the extra love?
Hey, how about the extra love, but all in all, that's as much connection as you get to the homelands for a very long time. For a very long time. We can't emphasize this enough. For a very long time. I know some people batla back home after a year, every year, and then some people 2, some people do the full 4 years.
Yeah.
Hey,
strong.
yeah, some people do the full 4 years, and for multiple reasons. But all in all, we get that shift in perspective as well. We are starting to see more about the world once we, are in this transition. Everything that was advertised, opportunities, yada yada yada. We see them. We see them. But what does that mean? Stay tuned.